Welcome to this short video on the autumn monitoring grade point. Using ALPS Connect Interactive, you'll be able to quickly analyse your latest grade point information and identify key priority areas for improvement. Let's just remind ourselves about the ALPS grading system. ALPS grades 1 to 3 place you in the top 25% of providers, ALPS grades 4 to 6 in the middle 50%, whilst ALPS grades 7 to 9 are in the bottom 25%. Remember, red is hot, blue is not. This grade point analysis will be taking place during the autumn term, and the key thing here is to look at gaps between different student groups and then identify those students who require further intervention. Remember, as you approach any grade sweep, the key thing is to ask the right question at the right time. So for example, are my male students making as much progress as my female students? Or equally, are my disadvantaged students making as much progress as my non-disadvantaged students? Using ALPS Connect Interactive, you'll be able to get the answers to these questions. Today we're going to look at 3 areas of focus: strategic overview, subject overview, and individual subject analysis. We'll start with the strategic overview. The best place to start any grade point analysis is in the strategic analysis area. Here you can create a template. Here I'm using the Key Stage 4 templates and the main report. As you do this, you'll be able to give you a quick analysis of where the cohort currently predicted to finish. So if you see here from our Year 11 grade sweep, compared to the previous grade sweep, students are now predicted to make less progress. If I look at this analysis in more detail, you can see that banded by prior attainment, since the last grade sweep, students in the top bands are now predicted to do less well than they were previously. Using this report, it also gives you your first quick overview of how separate subjects are performing. You can see here that the majority of subjects are grades 4 to 6, but you can also see clearly there are sub-subjects in the grade 7. If we then repeat that analysis by gender, we can also see that since the last grade sweep, the gap between males and females has started to increase. And when we look at that analysis by prior attainment bands, we can see clearly that there is more issues around progress for the males at the top end than there are for females. So from that analysis, we can clearly see that we've got issues in terms of performance of our male students, our disadvantaged students, and those students in the top prior attainment bands. We're now going to look at the subject overview section to see if we can find out some more information related to those issues. We're now going to move to the subject analysis element of Connect Interactive. As we look at this analysis, we can see that progress in subjects now is predicted to be less than it was at the previous grade sweep for the large majority of subjects, and so we can see declines in most areas, and noticeably we've got those subject areas in the grade 7s. From the strategic overview section, we clearly identified there was an issue with the progress of our male students compared to female students. And this analysis now within the subject overview area, you can see clearly that's an issue in a number of subject areas. However, it's most pronounced within English and also within science. When we repeat that analysis for disadvantaged and non-disadvantaged students, we see that for some subject areas the gap is quite small. However, in other subject areas the gap is more pronounced, for example English language. And in some other subject areas where overall performance was good, for example maths, there's clearly an issue between the performance of disadvantaged students and non-disadvantaged students, and this will have to be a key priority for the head of subject in that area. The final analysis we're going to look at now is in relation to prior attainment groups. Here you can see clearly there's an issue with students' progress in that top prior attainment band. And for the larger majority of subject areas this is an issue. Clearly this is something that will have to be resolved within subjects, but it may also point to a need for some whole school training related to intense implementation with these more able students. Having completed our analysis using the subject overview section, we're now going to move and look at subject analysis. And whilst there are a number of subjects we could focus on, we're just going to limit our focus at this stage to science. Okay, so starting in the subject overview section, we're going to click on the double award science. That'll take us to the subject page for science, and here you can see clearly a nice detailed analysis of the kind of key groups within science. Equally, it gives us some analysis by teachers. It also gives us some analysis by teaching sets. From a head of subject perspective, the thermometer on the left hand side is very useful. And if we were aiming for a ALPS grade 3, for example, it will tell us the number of students that need to improve and the number of grades that need to improve by. Okay, you can also do class analysis in this section. So here's my class, currently ALPS grade 7. If I click on students at the class, that then reveals all the students in this group. The really nice element of this section is, again, I can use a thermometer. That'll tell me how many students need to improve and how many grades need to improve by to get to ALPS grade 5 or equally an ALPS grade 3. And at the top there, once I've closed this down, there's a really nice feature which is the What If tool. And what the What If tool does is enables us to look into individual students and thinking carefully about, well, how many students need to improve by 1 grade to get to a grade 5. I can then look at those students and think which students have got the potential to improve. As I go through this list, I can see clearly that there are some students who have got capacity to improve with the right type of work both in class and outside the classroom at home. So I'm going through here and I'm identifying those students. As I do that, you can see that the thermometer is slowly moving up on the right hand side there. And this, I think, is a great tool for head to subject to work with individual subject teachers. Okay, so having completed your analysis, the key things here are who has ownership of the issues you've identified, what are the implications in terms of teaching and learning, and how will the impact be assessed. Thank you for watching. Please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any queries relating to this video.